My name is Ethan Mitchell. I'm 42 years old now, and I've learned that some of life's hardest lessons come wrapped in the people we trust most. I met Rebecca at a coffee shop in Portland, 15 years ago. She had honey blonde hair that caught the morning light, and a smile that made me believe in second chances. I was a struggling tech consultant back then, working 18-hour days in a cramped apartment, surviving on instant ramen and determination. Rebecca said she loved my ambition. She said she saw something special in me. We married within a year, small ceremony, just close friends. Her parents weren't thrilled I wasn't wealthy enough, established enough, but Rebecca promised me she didn't care about money. She cared about us. I believed her. The early years were beautiful in their simplicity. We'd take weekend drives along the coast, talking about our dreams. I'd tell her about the software platform I was developing, how I believed it could revolutionize small business logistics. She'd listen, her hand warm in mine, and tell me she was proud of me. I worked harder because of her. Every late night, every rejected pitch, every setback I pushed through it all because I wanted to give her the life she deserved. 3 years into our marriage, my platform finally gained traction. A mid-sized company bought a license, then another, then 10 more. Within 18 months, I had venture capital interest. Within 3 years, I had offers to acquire the company. I kept working, kept building, kept believing Rebecca and I were building something together. Looking back now, I can see when things changed. It was subtle at first. Rebecca started spending more time at the gym. New clothes appeared in her closet, the expensive brands I didn't remember her buying. She developed a sudden interest in yoga retreats and spa weekends with her friend Melissa. I told myself I was being paranoid. She deserved nice things. We could afford it now. I was traveling constantly for business, so naturally she needed her own life, her own interests. The truth has a way of finding you, though, even when you're not looking for it. I found out on a Tuesday. Isn't that strange? How ordinary the day was. I came home early from a business trip, but the meeting had been cancelled last minute. I walked into our house, the house I'd bought for us in the Pearl District, with its exposed brick and river views. I heard laughter upstairs, her laughter, and someone else's. I won't describe what I saw when I opened our bedroom door. Some images don't need words. They just burn themselves into your memory forever. His name was Dylan. He worked at her gym, 28 years old, personal trainer. He had the decency to look ashamed as he grabbed his clothes. Rebecca just looked annoyed. "Ethan, don't be dramatic," she said, wrapping herself in the silk robe I'd given her for our anniversary. "This doesn't have to be a big deal." I moved into a hotel that night. For days, I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. I kept replaying our life together, looking for the moment I'd stopped being enough for her. She called repeatedly. She wanted to talk things through. She said Dylan meant nothing. It was just physical, a mistake. She loved me. When I didn't answer, she changed tactics. Her lawyer sent papers. She wanted the house, half of everything, full spousal support. She'd sacrificed her career for our marriage. The papers claimed she deserved compensation. I hired Margaret Chen, best divorce attorney in Portland. She's 70, with steel gray hair and eyes that miss nothing. "How bad is it?" I asked during our first meeting. Margaret looked at me over her reading glasses. "Financially, she'll try to take you for everything. Emotionally, you already know that answer, Ethan." What Rebecca didn't know, and what nobody outside my accountant and lawyer knew, was just how successful my company had become. That acquisition I'd been working on, it had closed 3 weeks before I discovered her affair. $23 million. My share, after taxes and investor payouts, $18 million. I'd planned to surprise her. I'd already picked out a lake house we'd talked about. I was going to tell her at our anniversary dinner next month that she could finally pursue her dream of opening a boutique, that we'd made it. Now, those plans turned to ash. Margaret had a strategy. "Let her think she's winning," she said. "Let her attorney believe you're a moderately successful consultant with some savings. We'll disclose everything legally we have told, but we'll let the paperwork speak for itself." Most people don't read carefully when they think they're getting what they want. The divorce process was brutal. Rebecca's lawyer was aggressive, demanding forensic accounting, depositions, everything. Margaret handled it calmly, providing every document requested, every disclosure required by law. Meanwhile, Rebecca was posting on social media photos with Dylan at expensive restaurants, beach vacations. She'd captioned one, "Finally living my authentic life." That hurt. I won't pretend it didn't, but something in me was hardening, healing, maybe, or just learning. The hearing was scheduled for a Thursday morning. Judge Patricia Morrison presiding. She had a reputation for being fair but firm, unimpressed by theatrics. I arrived in a simple suit. Rebecca showed up in designer everything: a dress, shoes, handbag. Dylan waited in the gallery, his arm draped territorially across the bench. The hearing began routinely. Asset division, property distribution. Rebecca's lawyer painted her as a devoted wife who'd sacrificed everything to support my career. I'd been emotionally absent, married to my work. She deserved to be made whole. I watched Rebecca's face. She was trying not to smile. Then came the financial disclosure. Margaret submitted the documents. The judge began reading through them, her expression neutral. Rebecca's lawyer glanced at the papers, nodded, started to speak and then stopped. He read more carefully. His face paled. "Your Honor, I need a moment with my client." But Rebecca wasn't paying attention. She'd already reached for the settlement agreement, pen in hand, that confident smile playing at her lips. She was probably thinking about what she'd spend her share on. Maybe a car, maybe a trip to Paris with Dylan. She signed with a flourish. Judge Morrison looked up. "Mrs. Mitchell, do you understand what you're signing?" "Yes, Your Honor." "Finally getting what I deserve." Rebecca actually laughed, light and carefree. Judge Morrison's expression didn't change, but something flickered in her eyes. "Very well. Let me read the division into the record." She began listing assets. The house to be sold, proceeds split, savings accounts are divided, investment accounts are divided, standard retirement funds are divided. Rebecca was nodding along, satisfied. Then Judge Morrison continued. "Regarding the business assets disclosed in Exhibit 47C, the sale of Mitchell Logistics platform, completed approximately 3 months ago, with proceeds of $18,200,000. A broken bar." Rebecca's head snapped up. A broken bar with required division under state law equaling approximately 40% to petitioner after separate property considerations, resulting in a settlement payment of $7,280,000 to Mrs. Mitchell. The courtroom went silent. I watched emotions cascade across Rebecca's face. Confusion, realization, shock, then something uglier: a rage mixed with disbelief. "Wait," she said, her voice sharp. $18 million? That can't be right. Ethan's a consultant. He makes maybe $300,000 a year." I checked his as she stopped, realizing what she'd just admitted. Her lawyer looked sick. Judge Morrison raised an eyebrow. "All financial disclosures were provided to your counsel 30 days ago, as required by law. The acquisition was fully documented. Did you not review the materials before signing, Mrs. Mitchell?" Rebecca turned to her lawyer, who was frantically flipping through papers. "You said it would be around $200,000. You said we were bleeding him dry." "Yeah, broken bar." The disclosure was theory. Broken bar. I didn't. A broken bar. The amount seemed a broken bar. Judge Morrison's voice cut through the chaos. "The settlement is signed and witnessed. The financial division stands as agreed." She looked at Rebecca with something that might have been disappointment. "Mrs. Mitchell, you just agreed to accept $7.2 million instead of pursuing a potentially larger claim through extended litigation. Your attorney's oversight is unfortunate, but the settlement is binding." Rebecca stood up, shaking. "This isn't fair. I didn't know. I would never have you signed without reading." Judge Morrison said quietly. "That's no one's fault but your own. And frankly, Mrs. Mitchell, $7 million is more than generous for a 5-year marriage, given the circumstances that led to this divorce." Dylan had disappeared from the gallery. "Smart man." Rebecca's eyes met mine across the courtroom. For the first time, I saw her clearly. Not the woman I'd fallen in love with, not the partner I'd believed in, just someone who'd gambled on my mediocrity and lost. I didn't feel triumphant. Not really. Margaret had structured the settlement to be exactly fair under state law. 40% of marital assets, accounting for my premarital business foundation and separate property investments. Rebecca would walk away wealthy by any measure. But she'd wanted more. She'd wanted humiliation. She'd wanted to watch me broken and desperate, signing away everything I'd built while she laughed with her new boyfriend. Instead, She got justice, and the knowledge that she'd thrown away a partnership with someone who would have shared everything willingly out of love. That was 6 months ago. I hear Rebecca moved to California with her settlement, the boutique she dreamed of opening. She bought a condo instead, and a sports car. Dylan didn't last 3 weeks after the hearing. Me? I bought that lake house after all, smaller than I'd originally planned. I spend weekends there with my nephew, teaching him to fish. Sometimes my sister Sarah joins us, and we cook dinner together, talking about nothing important. I'm learning that wealth isn't just money, it's time, it's peace, it's sitting on a dock at sunset and feeling okay with your own company. I think about Rebecca sometimes, not with anger anymore, mostly with sadness for what we could have been if she'd just been honest, if she'd valued what we were building together instead of looking for something flashier. The judge asked her at the end of that hearing if she understood what she'd signed. Rebecca had laughed, so certain of her victory. Sometimes I wonder if she's learned yet that the real price of arrogance isn't measured in dollars, it's measured in the relationships we destroy while chasing the wrong things. I hope she finds peace someday, I really do. As for me, I'm building something new. Not a business this time, just a life worth living, one honest moment at a time. That's worth more than any settlement, more than any revenge. It's worth everything.